why did you touch this game?
I don't know. There was something about it. The mechanics and the baseline of the game is very clean, I guess is the way to put it. You could take a player who had played an OPO1, the first set release, not touched the game ever since, bring him back in, and they'll have to do some reading, but the core mechanics is there. They have not introduced any new mechanics or cards. Pokemon's introduced EXs and Megas. Magic the Gathering over time has introduced Planeswalkers and Sagas and a litany of other card types. Since the first set and the first starter decks, the card types have been the same and the game has played the same. Power creep does exist, but it's power creep that is the exact same style of the game.
Power creep is a problem though, because I remember way back when, I think the first TCG I ever got into was the Pokemon TCG, and Haymaker. Have you ever heard of this thing called the Haymaker deck? Electabuzz,
yes.
Hitmonchan, that was my jam. But then Pokemon introduced this thing called a set rotation that they got from this pesky other game called Magic the Gathering. Ugh. And my Haymaker deck was no more. And they've been doing that ever since. So I don't know if One Piece has gone through that arc yet. Probably.
Yes. So if you hover above a card, in the very bottom right corner, you'll see something like with your Zoro, it says OP12-20L and free.
Right.
So OP12-20 is the card's set number. L is the card's rarity. In this case, it's of the leader rarity. And free is the block rotation. So once it hits April 2028, this leader is going to be rotated out. But by the time they've gotten that, we should be on block 6. And there's not a limit to certain cards. For example, one rule that they have is that there's different rarities, like there's manga rarities. So certain cards will get alternative art of the manga rarity. And if it has received that alternative art, it's unlimited. It will never go out of rotation.
Yeah, how about we go over a little bit of a primer on how exactly this game plays.
The game is what I call asynchronous. I break card games into synchronous and asynchronous. When it is synchronous, you are able to act upon your opponent's turn. Think about instants and abilities in Magic the Gathering.
Right.
You can counterspell your opponent. With an asynchronous game, you build up your board, do your move, and during your opponent's turn, there's very little you can do to act. Pokemon is a great example of an asynchronous game where essentially the only thing you can do is choose when your opponent switches out a character with certain effects. So, in One Piece, the only thing you are realistically able to do on your opponent's turn is do a block and do some counters.
And lives differ, which is actually sort of strange because, Magic the Gathering has a way of increasing your set life to whatever number you want. Pokemon, 6 prize cards, unless I read something different. But yeah, 6 prize cards, mostly. Yu-Gi-Oh, 8,000, which has a way of increasing and decreasing like Magic, but 8,000 is what you start off with. With One Piece, that's not true at all. All these leaders have different lives. They're like right now I'm playing a leader that's the same as your leader, but I've seen leaders. How much of a variance is there? Is there leaders out there that have like 8 life that they start off with?
If your leader is monocolor, you start out with 5 life. And if your leader is dual color, you start out with 4 life.
Right.
Typically, if a character strays away from this life rule, it comes with some sort of cost.
Yeah, so I used to play a lot of fighting games back in the day. And what you're trying to say to me is kind of like how certain boss characters that become legal were balanced in fighting games. The characters that have few options, a lot of times they have a lot of life just to make up for it, because they have less chances to pop off. And the characters that have a bunch of options have little life. It'll give the other characters a chance to punch him in the face, which is good.
Yep. Red focuses on the power of cards. So how to make stuff more powerful and how to make your opponents weaker. Green focuses on tapping and untapping cards. So tapping your opponent's stuff and untapping your stuff. Blue focuses on the character area. So how do we spam out characters? How do we remove characters from the opponent's character area? And how do we draw cards into hand?
Classic blue. It doesn't matter the game. It doesn't matter what game it is. They're going to draw.
Black focuses on the cost. So lower your opponent's cost and raise your cost. It also does some trash stuff.
So I have another question. How do I... So I'm reading the card. 5,000 power, 5 life, and it has a Dawn 3 ability. How do I get him on the board?
So your leader already starts out on the board.
Oh.
Yes.
How do I get him in the character area?
You don't. He's in his own area.
He's in his own area. I see.
So
it's like Eminence from Magic the Gathering.
To an extent, yeah. So let's say like with Commander, imagine in a Commander game, you have to beat your opponent's commander 5 times in order to win the game. So the commander already stays out and you can attack the commander at any time, but the only way to win the game is to beat your opponent's commander 5 times. Does that make a little bit of sense?
That makes sense. That does make sense. Every time I swing at Zoro, or every time I swing at your leader, you will take a life point of damage.
Yes, but you have to match or exceed my power. Kind of like with Magic. If your toughness is greater than my power, your guy survives. Since we have only one stat, if my power is bigger than your power, I don't take the damage. Or Zoro.
Can you attack on the first turn? Is there summoning sickness?
There is yes and no. There is no ability to attack with a character on the first turn unless it has a keyword called Rush, which would be like haste.
Okay.
But you can activate abilities on the first turn, which is something that creatures with summoning sickness can't do.
All right, let's see this.
There's a mulligan system. You draw 5, see if you want your hand or not, and then put it away, reshuffle, and then draw 5 again. You want to try and see if you have something that follows curve well. So can you do something for 1 Dawn?
And by curve, you mean the cost on the left-hand side of the card.
Top left of the card.
So it looks like our lives are represented by cards. So these are kind of like prize cards from Pokemon, right?
Yep, but you reverse it. When you beat out one of your opponent's characters in Pokemon, you take a prize card. In One Piece, when I deal damage to you, you get the life card. So you're closer to losing the game, but you get more card advantage.
So it's a loser that gets more cards. Actually more fair than Pokemon.
Yep, since your first turn, first player, you only get 1, and you do not get to draw a card.
Awesome. I will play Kozuki.
So since I'm first turn, second player, I start out with 2 Dawn, and I get to draw a card. Let's play
That's
Brook.
A pretty big advantage for the second player. Nice, nice. So this card activates on my turn.
If I have 3 or more given Dawn to any characters, this character is going to get blocker and 3,000 power. So if I attack at you in Magic the Gathering, you could choose any of your guys to block out your opponent and redirect to them. In the Bandai games, One Piece specifically, you can't redirect attacks unless the card has the term blocker.
Yeah, that's straight out of Hearthstone. That I remember I used to play a lot of Hearthstone, and in Hearthstone, you could just hit face all day. They have to have cards called taunt or have a taunt attribute on them. Well, it's back to me. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to use my Kozuki's ability to rest 1 Dawn. I'll peak 5, draw a slash or green event. I got an option between going for a fast play or a slow play here, so I think I'm going to go for the fast play.
All right.
And I'm going to choose this guy. Also, I still got 2 Don to use. So I'm going to summon Koshiro. So this guy's the guy that gave Zoro his first special sword. And he's a blocker, just like your, your Brook. Oh, you brought out Monkey D. Luffy.
Rest one of your Dawn cards and this character to give one of my opponent's characters minus 1,000 power during this turn. And I'm going to play that again.
So there's no legendary clause.
Nope. I'm going to attach one to my leader. Yep.
Now, giving a Dawn card to a character, you can't use the Dawn card to cast.
No, you cannot. So Dawn is in one of 3 positions. It is either unrested, like this one that is standing straight up, untapped. It is tapped, like those 2 that I have sideways, or it is given as one of the 3 positions. You can only untap Dawn in order to pay for costs. So since he's got 1 attached, I can activate his ability to give a character 2 rested Dawn. And I'll choose the Brook, because now since I have 3 attached Dawn in total, I'm going to be able to give him blocker. Now, I'll attack you, and
I'll block with my Koshiro. He's got 1,000 power. You got 6,000 power. My Koshiro is going to die.
So now you're in the counter step. Certain cards will have counter plus X 1,000 on the side, such as your Yori. So while they're in your hand, you can pitch those cards to buff it up. If you manage to go over my power, your card survives. It's a very easy way to keep yourself alive and protect your life, but it comes at the direct cost of card advantage.
Like, the cool thing about this game that I've been realizing so far, there really isn't any dead cards. You never have dead cards in hand. Even if you have a card that's like 8 cost or 10 cost, you could still discard it if it has a counter on it.
If it doesn't have a counter, it tends to be more powerful and wants to be played.
Well, I draw.
All right.
So I'm gonna play Silver Rayleigh. And when I do that, he's got an on-play ability where I can choose enemy characters that have a cost of 2 or less, and I can rest them, so they can't be used. So I'm going to choose this guy, and I'm also going to choose one of your Luffys.
Awesome. So you've removed my blocker.
I've removed your blocker, and your leader is ripe for the picking. So I'm going to attack with my leader, and I'm going to attack with Rayleigh. I'll attack him. And let's see what you do.
So now I can't block. I could counter, but I'd need to go up to 6,000 power to save the card.
Yeah.
Which means 4,000 in counter. About 4 cards on average. That's too much for me. I'm not going to give you that.
Okay, so Luffy dies. I'm going to attack your leader.
All right. I don't have any cards in hand, so I'm going to let this go through. So no blocker, no counter. I take the life.
I'm going to end my turn now.
And I'm gonna do a little crazy combo. So for 5 Dawn, I'm going to play this Sanji card, which says draw a card, play a character with the Straw Hat Clue type, costs 5 or less other than Sanji. And I'll play Jinbei. And Jinbei has draw a card, play Straw Hat type with a cost of 1 for my hand.
He's summoning Exodia. He's got all the pieces.
I'll play the Thousand Sunny, which is my tutor for top 5 search. So this is called a stage, and stages are permanents on the field that really aren't targeted but also are not part of combat. Almost like enchantments and artifacts, I guess, is where you would put this in. And there's an activate main ability to rest it and give 1 Monkey D. Luffy card a rested Dawn.
Which is all he needs to turn Sanji on.
Give him 2. Now I've got a 5k rush. And since this is true rush, I can attack at your leader.
All right, now it's time for the blocker step. So
now you can pitch cards from hand.
Personal
advice, 5 life, you're healthy. It's better to have the card advantage.
Yeah, but in this case, I got some draft chaff in this deck, so I'm gonna take care of this guy with my Kawamatsu.
And so he survives the hit.
I'm going to play Tashigi. So Tashigi has an ability on play where I can rest one of my opponent's characters with an original cost of 6 or less. And then I can give 3 rested Dawn cards to Zoro to use. You got 2 blockers on your side. You got Jinbei, and you also got Brook. How many characters? Rest up to 1. Okay, so...
Up to 1.
Okay, now I get to choose 1 friendly character to give the 3 rested Dawn cards to.
And the only valid target is your Zoro leader.
This game is kind of complicated because you got a pretty big hand out there, And I'm sure you got counter cards over there, so I'm going to need some big swings in. Well, before I attack, I'm trying to see if I should give a Dawn to another character just to make him a little bit beefier. Right now, my leader...
Don't have to right now. Yeah. The main phase incorporates everything. So you can swap in and out. So you can play a character, attach Dawn, attack, play another character, attach more Dawn, attack again.
Oh, okay.
It's not like in Magic where it's main phase.
There's no set. It's one big
battle.
main phase each turn.
Yes.
Got it. And I'm going to attack your...
Oh. Oh.
Wait, what happened?
The timer.
No!